Mo, I was your typical crazy Black woman, Supergirl, wearing the purple cape and the gold crown. I was running an ad agency. I had 2 partners, and I was the rainmaker. I was bringing in all the business, doing all the stuff. My younger daughter, Haley, was at Dartmouth. My older daughter, Amanda, was working in the Obama White House. And I went for my annual checkup, and the doctor found it, just doing an exam.
Wow. Tell me more about your actual diagnosis. What kind of breast cancer did you have?
I was diagnosed with Stage IIIa triple negative.
And what did that mean to you at the time?
Well, you know, when I first heard those words, I said triple negative. Well, that doesn't sound so bad. And then, of course, I went to Dr. Google, and it says, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die soon, fast. Not a lot was known at the time about triple negative.
Did you have any family history of breast cancer?
Well, you know, my mom had stage 0 breast cancer about 15 years before I was diagnosed. And it really wasn't until I got sick that she remembered that her aunt died at 42 from breast cancer.
Wow.
What is your personal connection to breast cancer? You're so committed and so passionate about your work. Like, how'd you get into doing this work?
Well, you know, Ricki, cancer picked me. I watched my mother, who was 29 years old, with 2 daughters die of ovarian cancer, and I didn't understand it at the time. I just knew that my mom was gone. And my grandmother raised us, and I watched her have an accident one day in the kitchen where she hit her breast on a cabinet, and she thought that she had a bruise, and she went to see the doctor and discovered, was told that she had breast cancer. And she blamed that cabinet and that incident on her breast cancer, as many women do. But I watched her and my grandfather struggle through the system. I can remember specifically my grandfather fumbling through her purse and looking for business cards and trying to figure out which surgeon they should go to and who was the best doctor for this. And they didn't have much help, and they didn't have a whole lot of education about how to navigate the medical system. And she overcame that, and 15 years later, she was diagnosed with a second breast cancer in the opposite breast. And each time, some doctors said, well, ma'am, maybe you have 6 months to live and you might want to start making your arrangements. And, and she said, no, I can't do that. She said, I have to raise these grandkids. Their mom died, and one of them said she's going to be a doctor and she's going to cure cancer. So I have work to do. The most that I can do at the end of the day is to remove the thing that's blocking someone's healing. And that, for me, is through surgery. So as a surgeon, I get to participate in research that's both technical and innovative technologies, but also in clinical trials and drug trials for patients. And I know you have some experience there.
I did a double mastectomy. I did 6 rounds of chemo, 6 weeks of radiation, and then a year to the day of my diagnosis, they found 5 spots on my chest wall. My doctor said, okay, Ricki, you're now metastatic, you have 2 years to live. And I called the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation on the 3rd page of Google, and I changed doctors, and she put me on some experimental drugs that are now standard of care, but they were experimental at the time, and that's what saved my life.
You went and found that information for yourself.
So that was probably my first advocacy role, right? But really, as soon as I got better, I joined the board of the Triple Negative Breast Cancer Foundation, and I've been an advocate ever since. When I started looking at the numbers for Black women and triple negative and how we get it at 3 times the rate and how our mortality rate is 41% higher and we have a 39% higher recurrence rate than white women, I wanted to figure out why Black women experience it differently and what can be done to fix it. And so that's really driven my advocacy work. It's to figure out why and what we can do differently about it.
It's so important for us to truly treat patients like family, and it extends into the advocacy work, whether it's with the Chrysalis Initiative, whether it's with Tiger Lily, whether it's with Living Beyond Breast Cancer, who always gives me great opportunities to be that voice and that advocate.
I founded Touch. Gosh, it's a little over 2 years now. Can you believe it? In the middle of the pandemic, because I wanted to do this work. And I knew that you would help me, and I knew that you would, be my partner in crime in and being my medical advisor to help me, and Mo, I call you at all hours of the day and night, and you always answer my text no matter what time it is, and I can refer them to you and at least be a resource for the people that need us, and so many people need us every day.
At a time when we can say in 2022, only 3% of clinical trials include Black women. And so I think the time was right for Touch to decide to focus on research and encourage companies to not just add a seat to the table, but to build a new table.
We've been doing this when we trial for 3 months now, and so far, I hope by the time this video comes out, it'll even be bigger, but we've signed up 1,120 Black women for clinical trial into clinical trial portals.
Just from pounding the pavement, from going to the churches, from going to the street festivals, right?
3, 2, 1. Live from the farm! It's Wednesday night! The doctor is in!
So fast forward to COVID. COVID hit. And I remember you and I talking about how can we reach women in their homes and how can we bring support groups to women who maybe didn't even go to support groups because nobody looked like them and, talked about the same issues that they had. So, we came up with a pretty innovative solution, a 20-episode series called The Doctor Is In.
We went on my Facebook, my Ricki Facebook Live, and we had 860 views on my little Facebook page. And so I called my friend Reggie, who was the founder and CEO of blackdoctor.org. He's like, this is amazing. I was like, really? And so he said, let's put it on blackdoctor.org.
We were only supposed to do 20 episodes.
And we sat there, we said, okay, let's think of 20 things we can talk about. I have the list. Gosh, Mo, we're probably on our 250th show. We're getting close, right?
Wow. 1 hour every Wednesday night has made such a difference. I have patients from all walks of life and people from around the world who are tuning in, folks from Senegal, folks from Ireland, people from the islands, people in different time zones and all around the world are tuning into this little humble Facebook show.
Some things don't. And so it's really important to have products that have been tested on patients who've had breast cancer.
Ricki, what do you want people to understand and remember about your life, your mission, and your work?
I am not going to do the status quo. I am not going to do what's done before. I am not going to go down the road that's already paved because it's not working for Black women. And I work for Belle, Leah, and Hart. They are 5, 3, and 1. They are my purpose every day. I got about 10 years before Belle gets boobs to get rid of breast cancer, and she's my purpose.
Wow. I like to say when we're not at the table, we might be on the menu, but here we are and we're at the table. And I think it's time for Black women especially to reimagine what we want our care to look like and to feel like. And that we finally feel what trust feels like. And we deserve that.